Gang. Yo, welcome back to part 2, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't gonna leave you hanging for that long. This is part 2 of should you be in total control of your motorcycle 100% of the time. And part 2 of riding with one eye is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Editing in progress as we speak. Right now, right this very moment, it's being done. The gas pump is yelling at me. You don't be yelling at me. I do what I want, whatever.
Whatever, I'll do what I want.
How expensive is gas now, bro? Holy Okay. Now that I've gotten over the shock of filling up my gas tank in my motorcycle, which I'm convinced that's way more than I normally have to spend. I'm not one to look at gas prices per dollar amount a lot, especially when I'm filling the bike up, because it's usually like a couple bucks. And I mean, I'm trying to be fiscally responsible, but what's looking at the price gonna really do? Am I gonna be like, oh hell no, I'm not getting gas today? No, I still gotta get gas. I still need to be mobile, agile, hostile. But anyway, maybe it wasn't that much more, but it's more than it's been. I'll just say that. Back to what I was saying. The question is, should you be in 100% control or total control of your motorcycle 100% of the time? And what I started saying was one thing, and then I got interrupted by someone blowing a yellow light turning red situation. But that did bring up a point I wanted to discuss regarding this question, which is, yes, in theory, you should be in 100% control of your motorcycle all the time. I answered the question, with some nuance. So here's how I'll answer officially. That statement is only true up until where the comfort level of your skill set and experience reside. What I mean by that is, you might get comfortable and feel comfortable enough to where you think you're in control of your motorcycle 100% of the time. So in theory, that sounds all fine and good. But the problem is, and what I said previously in part 1, is that once you start feeling super comfortable, specifically as a newer rider, it's one of the more dangerous times to be riding in your journey as a motorcyclist or motorcycle rider, because you're just comfortable enough and you know just enough to get yourself in trouble, or just enough to do something stupid. That's more or less what I mean. It's like, you might think you're comfortable, and I keep saying comfortable. You might think you're in control 100% because you've gotten comfortable, but based on the situation you're in and your actual skill level and experience, you're probably not in control 100%. So if you feel like you're controlling the bike well, that's one thing. But if you're putting yourself in situations where you're going to have to perform some sort of slightly more advanced maneuvering, whether that's an emergency braking, which you should be practicing at least every week, at least weekly. Some say before every ride practice. I hit a couple emergency stops almost every ride, just as a keep it fresh. And I hit parking lots sometimes, and I practice new techniques that I want to get better at or that I learned. So I always recommend doing that. But if you don't do that, or you're doing it but you just haven't progressed yet to that point, because it like anything, it comes with time. So my thing is, if you're not at the level yet where you would be in 100% control 100% of the time, then you might very well think you are, and then you're in a situation where something happens and you thought you were in control, but guess what? You're really not. Or you were, but now you're not. And that has to do with there's so many factors, and I can do so many videos on this, and I probably will over time, just as a precaution for new riders. But like, riding in someone's blind spot, it's a bad habit, and sometimes people don't realize they're doing it. You just think people see you, and as a motorcyclist, you're just hanging back, chilling right in at someone's 5 o'clock, right in their blind spot, and that person moves over. I don't know how many videos I've seen of like an open lane traffic pattern where the rider's in one lane wide open, you got traffic in the lane next to him, and he's just riding past like no big deal, no care in the world. He may have some skills as far as, I know how to ride a motorcycle, I can do the basics, but I've seen these cars move over into his lane, and the whole time I'm like, dude, watch out, give yourself space. And a couple of them, one specifically, I may even replay it right now, I saw one recently. I saw one before I started riding it, and I saw it again the other day, and I thought, oh, it's amazing how, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I recognized what was going on. Immediately knew what was going to happen. So let me play that now, and then we'll talk about it quick. There you go. Okay, if you watch that back and you want to rewind it, he had the opportunity to avoid that easily. Now, the car didn't make a very smooth move. They just moved over, obviously. Half the people are like, oh, well, it's the car's fault. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant whose fault it is. Sure, it's the car's fault, sort of, because you have to just expect that. You can't not expect that to happen. You have to expect someone's going to move over. And then when they do, guess what? It's not a surprise. So if you were riding to expect that, this guy had plenty of time, and I'm glad he's okay. He posted it, so, you know, he's okay. He did get knocked out at the end, I think you could tell maybe. If he had thoroughly planned that out and was paying attention to his surroundings, he would have saw, like, I got an open traffic pattern. I want to interject here in this video because I wanted to just make 2 quick points. After watching this back while editing and watching that video again, my premise still remains the same. I just wanted to shout out this guy. I wish I looked at his name, but I'll include it in the description. You can go check his channel out. And I just want to be clear, I'm not knocking this guy in any way. We're just going to evaluate something that I think is going to make people safer by watching. 2 things. One is he's in full gear. Awesome. Shout out to him for being fully geared up. So even if you're in a situation, at least be prepared for what's going to happen, and he was. He got knocked a little loose. You could tell he was kind of unconscious. I think he even says in the description he lost consciousness for a second, and thank God he had a helmet on, because something like that seems minor, but if he didn't have a helmet on, I mean, that could have been it, dude. Something that low speed and seemingly not dramatic of an accident could have been it. And then the second thing I want to point out, this wasn't your classic open lane pattern. It was 2 lanes merging into one. Doesn't change what I have to say about this. Because I didn't talk about that when I was recording this video originally, I just wanted to make a point to say that. The fact that it's an open lane pattern and it's merging, it makes it even dumber that that car decided to move over. But that car may not be from the area and maybe didn't realize that it was going from 2 lanes to 1. If he's familiar with the area or not, you can see the lane ends. So I probably wouldn't have tried to squeeze by, but maybe I would have, but if I did, I would have been way over to the right already, just knowing that this is a 2 lanes going into 1 merge situation. So that's it. So 1, shout out for him wearing full gear. Shit happens sometimes, and if you're gonna be involved with something, you're better off having the gear on at least. And then the second thing, that this is an open lane pattern still, but not your classic 2 lanes, 1 lane's blocked. It's a merge from 2 lanes to 1, which makes my point even more valid, I guess you could say. And that is being aware of the situation you're in. It almost looked like he thought the lane continued, and if he was just going around the merging traffic, I mean, you got to do it by giving yourself a little more space in case a car juts out, and you got to be prepared for your exit. So that's all I wanted to add. That's it. And chances are someone's going to pull out. Why? Because everyone else wants to get into the open lane where you're at too. Dan the fireman talks about this shit all the time. And it's so hard to see a bike. People do this to cars. Of course they're going to do it to motorcycles. So my thing is, he hit the brakes and didn't even move. I wouldn't have even really hit the brakes in that situation. I would have already been expecting someone is going to do that, and I would have had my exit strategy to be squeezing that shoulder. If you watch that back again, Buddy had plenty of space to go around him. Now you can hit the brakes and swerve, but that's stuff you got to practice ahead of time. So 1, planning your route doesn't mean like, I mean, it could mean this. It could mean planning the whole route you want to ride. Oh, I'm planning my route. I want to go this place, and then I'm going to ride down this road. And I'm going to, like, that's sure. But planning your route, more importantly, means planning your immediate route in any situation you're in, seeing what risks are there, what's the traffic pattern, where's your exit points, where's your escape route, your emergency escape, all that stuff needs to be going through your head. If you're doing that and you're practicing your evasive maneuvering, emergency braking skills, then you have a great chance of being in 100% control of your motorcycle 100% of the time. There's those fluke things you just can't avoid. and they happen. You know, there's not much you can do about certain things, but if you put yourself in a good situation and you practice the control and you are aware of your surroundings, eventually you will be at a high level of control almost all the time. It's still tough for me to say 100% control 100% of the time. I would say 100% control 99.99% of the time, just because there's that fluke scenario that sometimes shit just happens. A tree fucking falls while you're riding by. I don't know, you know? Someone blows the stop sign, but they're going so fast you had no chance of seeing them. It's happened to me in a car. My Audi got totaled because some douche blew a stop sign and there was no time to react. You react as soon as you can and it's too late. We're gonna wrap it up there. I wanted to make this part 2 kind of quick. We can go more in depth on it. I think there's more to discuss here, and there's some things that I want to unravel in this video, but I think they're gonna be for other videos. Some things I want to cover that I think we can go a little deeper on from this video, and one of them is that the victim mentality, that everybody else should be looking out for you, and if someone does something wrong or moves over, it's a personal slight. They personally tried to attack me with their car. Now, there's definitely some crazy people out there, man. I see it frequently, so I'm not saying that doesn't happen and that's not a factor. I think we've all seen videos on YouTube, but there's a difference between that and you antagonizing and knocking people's mirrors off because they didn't see you, bro. Like, half the time it's probably some mom in a van with her kids. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. People blaming other drivers for their accidents or mishaps. The drivers are bad drivers, and sure, if it was another car versus car, it's their fault, but there's this victim mentality amongst a lot of riders nowadays, and it's scary because if that's how you ride, I don't want to sound glum and like I don't know what the word is, pessimistic and just dark, but you're not going to be around long, man. You're not going to last long if that's how you ride. With the mentality that you're the victim and everyone should be looking out and making way for you, it's just not the facts. It ain't the facts of life, you know what I'm saying? All right, I'm out. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate every one of you. If you ride, please ride safe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.